We got a lot of things to talk about in today's video. There's a lot of moving pieces that have been happening in the Raiders organization. I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts of the whole training camp experience that I had last week. On top of that, the Raiders look to make a deal with Josh Jacobs hopefully soon. All of that on today's video. But before we get started with the video, if this is the very first time you're coming across my channel and you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this. With that being said, cue the intro.
And you tell them one thing, just win, baby. It's because you're not feeling oozy.
Now, first things first, last week, I got to go to training camp for 2 days. It was a great experience overall. I know a lot of people have been asking me, how do I get to go to training camp and whatnot? I believe the Raiders gave tickets to season ticket holders. So if you're a season ticket holder, that gave people training camp tickets to reserve a day. So that's how I was able to get it, because there was people that reached out to us and gave us some free tickets. I mean, you could go look for it. If you know somebody that has season tickets, you could hit them up about it, or probably try to find somebody that's selling them. But all that aside, man, training camp was a great experience, man. The vibes was at an all-time high, man. It was the very first time I got to go to training camp here in Las Vegas. I actually got to go to the very last training camp in Napa Valley back in 2019. It was a whole different experience from then to here. I know that the facility is a great facility, you know, state-of-the-art facility. So to see the Raiders just practicing on a nice field in front of a nice facility was kind of great to see. On top of all that, we got to see a lot of new players out there, especially our new quarterback Jimmy G, just slanging the rock out there, and he looked pretty good out there. I know it's just practice, and time will tell if he's actually gonna look good when, you know, pressure's on him. But as far as what I've seen out there for the 2 days, he looks sharp. Devontae Adams is gonna look like Devontae Adams out there. Max Crosby is always gonna be the motor that runs the defensive side of the ball, and we got to see a lot of other guys out there. Isaiah Polamau looked like he gained some weight out there. I mean, some good weight, you know. He looks a little bit more thicker out there. Pause. But he looks like a guy that I could see playing in the secondary alongside of Marcus Epps and Trayvon Merrick. We'll see these next couple of weeks where he's going to be at on the depth chart, but he's a guy that I'm excited to see, as well as wide receiver Hunter Renfrow, man. He looked great out there at training camp, running his routes, looking real crisp out there, and also making some highlight plays, you know, catching balls over multiple defenders. You also got Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker looking good out there as far as wide receivers. And another quarterback that I do want to highlight was our rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell. He actually looked pretty good out there, has some missteps here and there, but for the most part he looks good. It's just kind of weird to see a different player wear that number 4 jersey, especially as a quarterback. But overall, this team really got me hyped up. But then again, it's the off season and we always get hyped up before the season actually starts, so you know, I'll take it with a grain of salt. But overall, the vibes and the experience, like I said, was great. The first day I went there, I believe on Thursday last week, I actually got to say what's up to the players that, you know, we watch all the time. And one great thing that I took away from it was some of these players just knowing me. I'm not even trying to toot my own horn, but some of these players coming up, Max Crosby being the main guy. I honestly just wanted a picture with the Condor. I wasn't gonna fan out or anything. I was just, hey, can I get a picture? He came up, he said, yo, I appreciate your work, man. Keep killing it. I see what you're doing, boss. I was like, oh shit, my boy actually recognized me. Like I said, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but it was a surreal feeling to see that, you know, guys like him and even Amik Robertson, even Kyle Pecco, and some of these other players, man. It just goes to show you that these players actually watch us. And I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of other content creators out there that I'm pretty sure they watch as well. And it was also great to link up with Brandon Parker yet again. If you guys don't know, Brandon was actually our second guest that we had on the Oos Nation podcast. If you guys are not subscribed to the Oos Nation podcast, go subscribe to the channel, man. I'll put the link down in the description below. And I also got to say what's up, take a picture, and chop it up just a little bit with Devontae Adams as well. He got to sign this hat that I brought over there, the Black Lemons hat. If you guys want a cap like this, go to blacklemon.com. I'll put the links down in the description as well, but you guys can see it. I don't know if it's gonna focus. There you go, man. That Devontae Adams signature, that's great experience overall that first day that I went there. And then I went again on Saturday. It was a packed house. Everybody and their mamas was there. It was a long line at the M Resort before we headed over there to training camp. But that day, mostly for me, was just to go say what's up to a lot of people behind the scenes, all the people behind the Raiders organization. And I know a lot of these guys. It's great to know a lot of these guys, from Harry Ruiz. I got to see Tashawn Reed out there. We got to see, you know, link up with Sib again. We got to go link up with one of my guys, Marcus, that works in the Raiders organization, as well as meeting Raiders general manager Dave Ziegler. And also we got to chop it up with the president of the Raider Nation, Sandra Douglas Morgan, man. My goodness, she is down to earth, man. Me and my boy Savage was actually over there chopping it up with her, and she actually was just talking, and she actually was able to take pictures with us and just thanked us, just being Raider fans coming over there and supporting the team. I mean, of course we're gonna come, right? Also, I can't forget my guy Beast Rider Ryan Sakamoto. If you guys don't know him or are not subscribed to him, man, go subscribe to the Beast Rider here on YouTube, man. He does a lot of great things for the nation. I know he came from the Bay Area, but he's here doing the Lord's work over here for us, the Raider Nation. And last but not least, I gotta give a huge shout out to Adam Plant Jr., man, one of our undrafted rookies. He's one guy that I've been chopping it up with behind the scenes, and a guy that we might be having on the Oos Nation podcast pretty soon, man. But with that said, I would definitely say that if you guys are planning to go to training camp in the future, man, go out there, be there early, and just have a good time overall. Just yesterday, the Raiders have added to the linebacker room, signing Darius Harris. Harris was an undrafted free agent for the Kansas City Chiefs in 2019. After missing his rookie year, Harris was able to play 28 games these last 3 seasons, starting in only 6, where he racked up a total of 58 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 pass deflections. Now, I'm not expecting much of Harris to come over here and do anything, but he does provide some depth at a position that we definitely do need depth at, that linebacker room, so I'm okay with this move. We'll see what happens these next couple of weeks leading up to preseason, how he looks with this unit. But I want to get your thoughts, Raider Nation. What do you guys think about this recent signing of Darius Harris? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, that wasn't the only move that the Raiders have made these past couple of days. The Raiders actually re-signed quarterback Chase Garbers after releasing him just last week. The same thing actually happened to Ike Brown just last week. Honestly, I don't know how these players do it, being cut, being re-signed, and cut again. My mental will be all over the place. But welcome back to the team, Chase Garbers. Cornerback Brandon Facyson suffered a non-contact injury yesterday and was carted off the field. Now, there is no timetable to when he will return, but as of today, the injury was deemed not so serious. So we'll see what happens in these next couple of days, and I'll keep you guys updated if anything was to come around. Now, some not so good news for some other players. Tight end OJ Howard and veteran offensive lineman Justin Murray was released by the team. In a corresponding move, though, the Raiders have signed tight end Jacob Hollister, who, compared to OJ Howard, is a much better blocker, which is a huge deal for this offense. And if you can't block, then you got to be out of this team. I was expecting OJ Howard to be on this team at least for the preseason, but I guess the Raiders went in a different direction. Now, in some other news, the Raiders have been really busy working out a plethora of players, from possibly finding Josh Jacobs' replacement to adding more veteran depth to the defensive side of the ball. Now, I want to start off with the defensive side of the ball because the Raiders recently worked out linebacker Jaylon Smith. Mostly known for his time in Dallas, Smith has also spent some time with Green Bay before landing in New York, playing under now Raiders defensive coordinator Patrick Graham. Initially a second-round pick for the Cowboys in 2017, Smith became a Pro Bowler, spending 5 seasons with Dallas, where he would record 498 total tackles, 2 interceptions, 6 forced fumbles, and 20 pass deflections. Smith recently played 13 games with the Giants last year, totaling 88 tackles. Overall, Smith may not be the player that he once was. I don't think the team really does need him to be, but I feel like if he was to be signed by this team, he would provide that linebacker depth that we really lack. Now that we added a guy in Darius Harris, I don't think it would hurt to bring on Jaylon Smith. So hopefully the Raiders do end up signing him. Maybe he could be a solid contributor on the defense side of the ball, but we will find out in the next coming days. Another player that the Raiders have also worked out on the defense side of the ball is former Jaguars and former Browns safety Ronnie Harrison. Again, another veteran player that could come in, step in, be a camp body, possibly compete for a spot in the secondary. I don't know if he'd actually make the team, but if signed, he'd be another solid addition to the defense. Now, moving on to the possible Josh Jacobs replacement, let's start with the running backs that the Raiders have worked out. First, Rex Burkhead, and I know what you guys might be thinking right now. Another ex-Patriot player? Really, bruh? No surprise here, right? Especially from this new regime. But recently, Burkhead has been holding it down in Houston for the past 2 seasons. Before that, he had stints in Cincinnati and New England. In his 11-year career, he has been able to rush for 1,908 yards on the ground with 17 touchdowns, also adding 1,534 yards in the air with 9 touchdowns. The other back that the Raiders have worked out is Damien Williams. Obviously, we all know him from his time with the Kansas City Chiefs, winning a Super Bowl back in 2020, which he definitely definitely helped contribute to, rushing for 104 yards with 29 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, there is no secret that the Raiders are looking to possibly replace Josh Jacobs if he doesn't re-sign with the team, which is the reason why they have been working out all of these running backs, from Rex Burkhead to Damien Williams to Jaylon Smith and even Benny Snell. Of course, these two guys aren't expected to come in and become workhorses if they did sign, but I could see them being used in short yardage situations that can occasionally be utilized in the passing game. But what do you guys think, Raider Nation? Should the team add one of these two running backs to the team right now, or do we have enough running backs and we should just wait on what Josh Jacobs is going to do? You know, on the roster right now, we still got Zeus, we still got Brandon Bolden, we still got Amir Abdullah, Sincere McCormick, and much more. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. But speaking of Josh Jacobs, we got some new news that came out just yesterday on the whole situation. You guys know that I've been following this whole thing since the beginning, and it's always good to see some kind of update, right? According to Josina Anderson, she stated yesterday that the Raiders are open to restarting talks with Josh Jacobs with the hopes of getting him to rejoin the team, which remains the goal for the Raiders front office. Now, this is definitely some interesting news because it just shows that the Raiders organization still has that open line of communication for Josh Jacobs if he ever decided to come and sign the franchise tag. I know that the team can easily, anytime, just pull the franchise tag and just move forward, and Josh Jacobs is basically fucked. But I do think that this team really wants to get a deal done. They just got to meet in the middle, and I don't know what that number could be. I know that there's been a lot of things floating around with that $12 million. Of course, we don't know whether it was in guarantees or incentives and whatnot, but I do think that the Raiders want to have Josh Jacobs back this season, and I feel like the Raider Nation wants that to happen as well. At the end of the day, the ball is in Josh Jacobs' hands, and we'll see if the Raiders will nudge and at least try to give him some kind of guarantees. But as of right now, we'll just have to wait and see what happens moving forward. Like I told you guys before, I really do believe that Josh Jacobs is going to be playing in the silver and black this season. He's going to sign that franchise tag, and then we're going to try to work something out later on this season, maybe next off season, to get a deal done. I know that there's a lot of people out there that think that he might hold out. I don't think he's going to hold out at all. He has no leverage against the Raiders. Saquon Barkley signing his franchise tag really ruined things for Josh Jacobs moving forward. So I think the best thing for him and for this organization is just to have him on the franchise tag, have him go out there, play with a chip on his shoulder, and just help this offense overall. You know, with Josh Jacobs, I think that this offense can go really far, especially with Jimmy G as our quarterback, and especially with Devontae Adams here, and with our defense slowly building. I think we should be okay this year, but I really do want to see number 8 back there getting the ball, running the rock, and getting touchdowns like he always does. So with that said, Raider Nation, again, let me know your thoughts on this situation with Josh Jacobs. Do you guys think that he's eventually going to sign that franchise tag, or do you guys think that he's actually going to hold out for the rest of the season? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Until the next video, this is your boy Simone Raider, and your boy is, yeah.